Hi, folks. This is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report. You know, I wanted to express to you one of the things that I think is so important about fishing our rivers, and that is that we need to respect them in every way we possibly can. You know, as I go along the sides of the banks, I see stuff that is left there on the shore by fishermen that have just maybe maybe they've taken a lure out of the package and just thrown the package down. Or maybe, and here's a really bad thing that I see so often, is line that is broken off, got tangled, and you take all the line off your reel that was tangled, and then you try to use fresh line. And what do? People throw it down on the ground like big deal. It doesn't make much of a scene. People aren't going to see it. Well, they do, but more important, it can become entangled into some animal. There's all kinds of reasons why that's a terrible thing to do. And again, you know, I think of some of the wonderful places that I've gone fishing in the past, and the slogan of going to those places. These were wilderness places, but they were wilderness because they were left to remain a wilderness. And the saying is, leave no trace behind. In other words, when you go into a place like this, you make sure that you leave nothing to indicate that you'd ever been there. And then it remains this wonderful place that those that are fortunate enough to want to go to some place like this, they can experience the same solitude, the same beauty, the same peace that you did. If you go into a place that's supposed to be like this and you see all kinds of tracks and you see where people maybe have left papers or left debris, it ruins it. And I think it's really important because we have waterways here that are very different than most parts of the country. They really are almost the same as they were back 100 years ago, especially in the Adirondack Park, where there are no changes. They don't want any changes to take place. They want this to remain a special wilderness area. And I think that pertains to everything just around us here in the North Country. We really do have this wonderful area. And I know I talk about it so often that we take things for granted, and that's just human nature to do that. But if you go someplace else, or if somebody from someplace else comes here, one of the things they're struck by is the beauty, the ruralness, the timeliness, it's almost like there's no time. It's almost like it's an area that time forgot. And that's something, I think that's the most important thing for us to protect and maintain. You know, when we do our tourist thing, in other words, we're trying to bring tourists here because of the money that they bring. But we don't want to change this into a tourist area. And I don't know if that makes any sense or not. We don't want it to become like Lake George. We don't want it to become like Lake Placid and all these other places that become they flip totally over to tourism. And once you do that, it changes the look and the nature. It really does. It's not something that you can escape into and you can go back in time in your mind. It becomes something different. We don't want that. I never want that. But I want you to be able to understand that we need to protect our waterways, our paths, our trails, in the very area that hopefully we all still love. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report.